Welcome everyone to our Abhidhamma study with Venerable Piññādhika Lingara. We are at class 16, learning about 5 material sphere consciousness, Rūpāvacara Citta, part 2. Today we're here on the Pacific coast, January 4th of 2023. It's 6 p.m. right now, so we are just about to start our Abhidhamma lecture. So here's a brief overview of what we usually do around this time on every Wednesday. We usually do 5:30 to 6, revision and discussion, followed by 6 p.m. to 7 is Abhidhamma lecture. And then we will stop the live streaming, then go straight to the question and answer and sharing merits. Without further ado, Bande, please lead us to chant Namo Tassa together with us, Bande.
Okay, let's start our Abhidhamma study reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa.
Thank you so much, Bande. Please teach us 5 material sphere consciousness, Rūpāvacara Citta, part 2, Bande.
Okay. So last week also we have studied Rūpāvacara Citta. There in lesson, we have emphasized the understanding what is Rūpāvacara Citta and how to get Rūpāvacara Citta. Explanation with the explanation of the 3 stages of mental development and also 3 types of meditation sign, which is called the nimitta. So, although they are in numbers the same as 3 bhavana and 3 nimitta, but they are not matching together one and another. So, starting from the Parikamma Bhavana, at that time, Parikamma Bhavana, the nimitta, how many meditation nimitta can be the object of Parikamma Bhavana? You remember?
2, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, what are these?
Parikamma nimitta and Ugaha nimitta.
Okay, right. Parikamma nimitta and Ugaha nimitta. So before the appearance of the Paṭipatti nimitta, the 3rd types of nimitta, the mental development is considered as the Parikamma Bhavana. When the counterpart sign, the Paṭipatti nimitta, appear, from that time on, it is considered as the Upacara Bhavana. Until the attainment of Jana, just before the attainment of Jana, there's the mind movement, specific mind movement, which is called, what is the name? Before the Jana.
Upacara Bhavana.
Yeah, Upacara Bhavana. And at the precise mind movement where?
Godrabu.
Right.
Godrabu,
right? So from the appearance of the counterpart sign, Paṭipatti nimitta, until the Godrabu, a change of the lineage. So during this time, all the mind movements are included under the stage of Upacara Bhavana. Just after the mind movement of Godrabu, Jana Citta arises. That Jana is called the Abhidhamma Bhavana. So these are 3 stages of Bhavana. Okay, so today we will continue as the second part of Rūpāvacara Jana. Okay, well, let's see the chart first. Here we already classified the jhana. So for the kusala, vipaka, and kiriya, kusala have the 5. So all are named as the Prathama Jana, Dutiya Jana, Tatiya Jana, Chatutha Jana, Panchama Jana. According to Abhidhamma, Rūpāvacara Jana are in 5 types. And first, second, etc. is going on the counting according to the number. So how we can name first jhana? This means that after the upachara bhavana is completed, when the apana bhavana started, the first time attained that types of jhana, which has the 5 constituents, actually 5 fetters, specific jhana fetter, 5 fetters. That is the first attainment. That's why it is named as first jhana. After the first jhana attainment, one trying to develop more. Then he attained the jhana with the 4 jhana fetters. It is named as second jhana. In this way, the jhanas are named in the order first, second, etc. Then, so kusala types 5 types, 5 jhana, and the vipaka 5 and kiriya 5. So if we count in each jhana, first jhana also in kusala, vipaka, kiriya, 3 types. So first jhana become 3. In this way, they are all Rūpāvacara jhana become 15. Okay, this is the classification. You know, the classification better to remember how we can classify a jhana for the Rūpāvacara jhana 15 types. Okay, so let's continue for more understanding about jhana. And so today we will talk about the jhana fetters. Here, as we have explained, Vitakka, Vichara, Piti, Sukkah, Ekaggata are the 5 jhana fetters of the first jhana. So first type of jhana. So there, what is Vitakka? So Vitakka, Vichara, etc. all are mental fetters. Mental fetters. So because of that, we have explained about the jhana fetters and Jana Citta last week, right? So here, Jana fetter Vitakka is a mental fetter. What it makes there? So that mounts or derives the mind. So the mind means the mind referring to the consciousness and the other mental fetters. Here, so Vitakka mounts or derives the mind onto the object. By the work of Vitakka, the consciousness and the associated mental fetters, they can direct to the object. This is the work of Vitakka. Okay, so the object is before the attainment of jhana. At that time also Vitakka is working. So by the power of Vitakka, and the mind and the other associated mental fetter, as we have mentioned that when the consciousness arises, the mental fetters accompany, and they arise together. They vanish or passed away together, and also they take the same object, consciousness and mental fetter, when they arise together. So that's why they are considered as the group or cluster, or mental cluster. In the mental cluster, if we identify in each of the ultimate reality in their characteristic, one is consciousness and the others are like a feeling, perception, vedana, sanya, etc., including Vitakka, Vichara. So among them, Vitakka make the consciousness and other mental factor we collectively call mind onto the object. This is the work of Vitakka. And here, okay, for the stage of jhana, the object must be Paṭipaka nimitta. So without the Paṭipaka nimitta, there cannot arise jhana. So in order to give rise to the jhana stage, there must be Paṭipaka nimitta. So we can say the focus, Vitakka make the mind and associated mental factor to direct onto the Paṭipaka nimitta. Before the attainment also, the meditator must be focusing on the Paṭipaka nimitta in order to attain the jhana. So keep continuing focusing and practicing mental development, then he get into the jhana, he attained the jhana. So before the attainment of jhana also, he is focusing on the Paṭipaka nimitta by the Rūpāvacara bhavana. Then by the maturity of the Rūpāvacara bhavana, and when 5 jhana factors are in balance and come to the certain level, at that time, the mind movement changed to Apana bhavana, which is called jhana. When jhana arises, also the mind is focusing on the Paṭipaka nimitta, the same nimitta. Okay, so among them, the Vitakka is working to mount or to direct. Then for the vichara, which is translated as the sustained application. So it makes the examination. So examination is the Vitakka direct to the object, and vichara is the work to examine. So its examination is similar to the sustaining the force. So Vitakka is direction. So the force or direction of Vitakka. That's why they two are very closely connected each other. So initial direction is done by the Vitakka, and the sustaining on the object is done by the vichara. Then piti, that is delight or pleasurable interest. So here does not translate as feeling because it is different from feeling. So piti is just the delightful or pleasurable interest in the object, which is also translated. The translation also apply as the rapture. So this is piti, the work of piti. So still on the object. Then happiness, Sukkah. This is pleasant mental feeling. Also, here Sukkah, when we counted is the rootless consciousness. Do you remember the rootless consciousness related to the word Sukkah? What is that?
A bodily feeling.
Right. Sukkah,
Rootless, kusala, ahe kusala.
Right, of course. There is right? Resultant of kusala. So it is called the Sukkha Sahagata Kaya Viññāna. There, Sukkha reference to Vedana, but it is Kaya Viññāna, so it's a physical related to the physical contact. But here the word Sukkha applying to the mental feeling. Although the Pali word is the same, but this referent substance different. So Sukkha Sahagata Kaya Viññāna, that Sukkha refers to the feeling in connection with the physical contact. But in this case, here Sukkha does not mean that one. So Sukkha refers to the mental feeling. But usually it is used somanasa. So when we say somanasa sahagata, as many times we counted, that time they will refer to the vedana, mental feeling. Here also mental feeling, But here in this case, the word Sukkah is used. And so identical with join. But when we translate the Sukkah Somanasa Sahagata, we say they're associated with join, like this, accompanied by join, right? So Somanasa Sahagata, accompanied by join. But here the word Sukkah is used, but the reference is same as the Somanasa. Okay, so this is referring to the Somanasa Vedana. So actually, the feeling, if we translate the precise meaning, this feeling, but joyful feeling. So in case of fifth jhana, so there are 5 types of jhana. Former 4 jhana come with the Sukkah, the feeling of Sukkah, but the 5th jhana come with the equanimity, upekha. So upekha also referring to the Vedana feeling, Vedana Chittasika feeling. So we have to know the happiness, Sukha, and equanimity, upekha, they are representing the same mental factors of Vedana feeling. In form of 4 jhana, Sukha, Vedana, or on the other hand, we can say the Somanasa, Vedana. And the last jhana or 5th jhana, it is upekha Vedana. And for the 5th jhana factor, which is called ekagata jhana factor, vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata. So ekagata is translated as one-pointedness. Eka, agata. Eka is one. Aga is aramana, same as aramana is object. So one objectness. So it is called the one-pointedness. But usually explain as the Samadhi. So Samadhi and ekagata same. Because if you study the Abhidhamma Lecture, and you cannot find in the enumeration of the ultimate reality, there is no Samadhi Citta or Samadhi Cittasika, but only the ekagata Cittasika. Ekagata Cittasika, the mental factors of one-pointedness. It is represented as the Samadhi. So Samadhi and ekagata are the same. This one-pointedness, the power of one-pointedness in the level of Samadhi is the vital important factors of all 5 jhanas. So in every jhana we can find the factors of ekagata. So without the power of ekagata in the level of concentration, Samadhi, there cannot be jhana. So that's why this is a primary component or the necessary condition for the meditative attainment. Okay, now we understand the 5 jhana factor in each of their work. Okay, this Samadhi also keeping the mind in one object, So actually this is common. The ekagata is common because you can find this one-pointedness, the mental factors or one-pointedness in the universal mental factors. It related to all kinds of consciousness. That's why this is used as the Samadhi to say the starting level. To become a jhana factor, it needs the power in starting level. If it is weak, it cannot be considered as jhana factor. So in the same way, the other vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, or upekha, ekagata, these mental factors can be found in the other consciousness, with the other consciousness in the common living, not jhana. But they cannot be considered as jhana factor because they are not in the starting level to call jhana factors. And the consciousness also not called jhana citta, because these mental factors are not enough powers to call jhana. Because as I said, the jhana has the 2 functions: to burn off the opposite and to, I said another one,
To closely contemplate the object.
Right. So these two meaning, the meaning of the jhana. So without this qualification, we cannot say the jhana. Okay, so let's continue. So how jhana fetters are working in balance. So as we say that although they appears in the other with the other consciousness, they are not considered as jhana fetter. Only when they are in balance and powerful enough in certain level, they are called jhana, and also they can be jhana fetters. Here, ekagata, as I said, the most important and the vitally important fetters, it works as the function of closely contemplating the object. So others like Vitakka, Vichara, they are supporting, in taking their performing their specific text to become a jhana, because the jhana fetter, as we say, the jhana fetters, the fetters. If we remove one, it will not be complete because it is fetters. So although Vitakka, Vichara, etc. are working, the most important thing is the ekagata, the closely contemplating in the function of closely contemplating on the object. So the ekagata is the most important characteristic, but although it is the most important fetter, it cannot perform the complete text of the jhana by itself. Only when the ekagata, the one-pointedness or concentration, the same. So that fetter is supported by the other four jhana fetters. Other four jhana fetters is reached to the certain level. So without the supporting, or for example, the Vitakka is weak, or Vichara is weak, there cannot be jhana concentration. So although the concentration itself is very strong, that is, it cannot be. So only when the other four jhana fetters are performing their specific function and support each other, especially support to the concentration, the ekagata. At that time, the ekagata reach to the certain level and called jhana. Okay, so how they support to ekagata, let's see, performing their function. As I said, they're applying the associated state, so consciousness and mental fetter, on the object. So this is the work of Vitakka. Vitakka performs its own function, not lacking power in the complete power, and the keeping balance with the others, not exceeding, and here Vichara sustain. So Vichara, when it appears and is sustaining the mental state on the object, which is directed by the Vitakka. Then Piti also bring delight, being delight in their bring delight interest in the object, delight interest. Then Sukkah experience the happiness in the jhana. So happiness, experiencing happiness and support to the concentration to stabilize. So in this way, each fetter, although they are performing their characteristics, their text, but can consider they are supporting at the same time. They are considered as they are supporting to ekagata in their strength. Then, with the complete strength or the powerful strength of their text, and they are in balance. They are in balance. All become powerful enough, and they are in balance. At that time, the consciousness, these five fetters working together is called jhana. So as we said, and these five fetters in certain condition, certain level is called jhana. Only each fetter, if each fetter in certain level is not considered as jhana, because they are working together. So in this way, they are in balance and come to the certain level, and called Jana. So the associated the consciousness is called Jana Citta. So that is Appana Bhavana. Okay, so let's see how they are considered as in the powerful enough and balanced. Here, Jana, Fedas, and Nivarana, 5 mental hindrances. So, as I said, the Citta Bhavana. So, although we use the meditation, especially that is called Citta Bhavana, because you know the Dana, Sila, Bhavana. If we count it, the meritorious deal, the Bhavana only. The Bhavana is translated as the mental development is the best, better than the meditation. So, okay, if someone trying to develop his mental condition, mental phenomena, only when it can remove the mental hindrances, then the development can be successful. Otherwise, it is hindered. So, hindered by the mental hindrances or blocked by the mental hindrances, mind and mental fetter, they cannot be developed. So, 5 mental fetters are considered as the specific mental hindrances. So they are sensual desire. Do you know what is sensual desire in the specific name of the ultimate reality? What is sensual desire?
Kamachanda.
Kamachanda, yeah, it is Pali. And what is reference? So there's no
Greed.
Kamachanda.
Greed.
Right, Lobha, yeah. So Lobha and Kamachanda the same. Because the Kamachanda, sensual desire, referring to the greed, mental fetters of greed. But the other mental, the other function of greed is the Kamachanda, they higher than the Kamachanda. Still have, although the Kamachanda is removed, still the other aspect like a Bhavatana, these are also the work of the mental fetters of greed. That's why, and only when the greed reach to the level of sensual desire, it is regarded as the mental hindrances. It can block mental development. So not all greed hinder. Not all greed hinder. So greed for sensual pleasure, which is regarded as sensual desire. So greed for sensual pleasure is regarded as the sensual desire. That sensual desire can be in blockage of the mental hindrances. Mental hindrance, one of the mental hindrances. So this is called the first hindrance. And second one, Vyavada, evil. Vyavada is translated as evil. Do you know what is the reference of?
Dosa.
Right. Yeah. The Pali word is Vyavada, evil. But if we say there's no Vyavada Cittasika among the 52 mental fetters, so we have to understand dosa. Okay, so dosa is Vyavada because it can destroy the mental condition. So, and also it can be mental hindrance. It can hinder the mental development block. So evil and sloth and torpor, they have the specific mental fetter. Sloth, tina, torpor, metta. So tina, metta, and they are specific in they have the specific mental fetters. And restlessness and worry, uddhacca and kukucca. So here these two mental hindrances come together in 2 components. So although here mental hindrances are explained 5 mental hindrances, if we count, there are 7 mental fetters. So sensual desire indicating 2, lobha, greed, and evil referring to dosa, sloth, tina, and torpor, metta, and restlessness is the uddhacca, and worry is kukucca, and doubt is vicikicca. So they can be hindrances of mental development. It means as long as they are disrupting the mind and appearance in the mental process, one cannot attain the jhana. It means that these mental factors, these jhana factors cannot be imbalanced because of disruption of the mental hindrances. So if someone wishes to attain the jhana, he needs to overcome 5 mental hindrances, suppression in the practice. After that, when they are suppressed, and we can say that we wake up. So we wake up, and the state is free from the mental hindrances. Then the jhana arises. So without the suppression of the 5 mental hindrances, one cannot attain the jhana. It means jhana consciousness, jhana state cannot be appear. Okay, so how they are opposite to each other? Let's see. The Vitakka initial application. So Vitakka is opposed to the sloth and torpor, Tinamita. Vitakka and Tinamita. So when the Tinamita becomes strong, so Vitakka less power. It does not mean there is no Vitakka. There is Vitakka, but is the Vitakka less power when the Tinamita appear. Because the Tinamita is akusala. So when akusala consciousness arises, also there is Vitakka, but the Vitakka is very low potency, low power. That's why it cannot reach to the jhana factors. Then sustained application, vichara, is opposed to the doubt, vicikiccha. So vicikiccha is doubt. As long as the doubt appear, so vichara cannot be in full strength, so in the full power. That's why it cannot be jhana factor, and also the person cannot attain the jhana. Okay, so the third one, that piti is opposite of the evil, vyapada. So when the piti arises, the evils disappear. Or when the evil arises, so the dosa arises, the piti gone. So piti and evil cannot come together, cannot come. That's why when vyapada, as long as vyapada arises, the piti cannot arise, and also lack of the piti, one cannot attain the jhana. Then happiness, Sukkah. Sukkah is opposite of the restlessness and worry, Uddhacca and Kukucca. So when the Sukkah arises, or so mind comes down already, and then there's no restlessness, no wandering around. You know, as you know, that when the meditating is not feeling the world, a joyful feeling, at that time the mind is not happy in the meditation object. Or when the mind happy with the meditation object, and restlessness is not coming, and can keep on the same object longer. And worry. So worry is kukucca, considering about the mistake, what he has done in the past, missing the opportunity, and regretting, worrying. That is kukucca. So if the worry is strong, that one cannot be happy, so cannot feel the mental happiness. So that's why these are opposite each other. So the last one point is ekaggata. Ekaggata specifically, emphasize the opposite of the sensual desire, kamachanda. So as long as kamachanda arises, that ekaggata cannot reach to the certain level of samadhi, concentration. So when the samadhi becomes stronger and stronger, the kamachanda also oppress. So in this way, these 5 jhana factor and 5 mental hindrances are opposite to each other. So here, this is the basis. So explaining this situation of the opposition each other. So Vitakka, Tinami Tassa, Vitakka and Tinami Tassa, Vichikechaya, Vicharo, and Piti Chapi Pyabadasa, Piti and Pyabada, Sukkah Otachako Kuchan, Sukkah and Otachako Kucha, Samadhi Kama Chandasa, Paṭipatti Pitake. So if you wish to remember the 5 mental factors of Jana factors and mental handles that's opposite each other, and you can memorize these verses. And also, if you want to see the more information, and you can check in Athasalini, it explains that the commentary or Dhammasangani. Okay, so let's talk about how they become opposite to each other. Here, initial application Vitakka is opposite to the sloth and torpor, Tinamita. So in the practice for the attainment of jhana, it means they practicing the serenity meditation, samatha meditation. At that time, Vitakka performed the special text to inhibit or to oppress the mental hindrance of sloth and torpor. And that is, in the common time also, when you trying to sleep, you want to sleep, you are not sleepy in when the Vitakka is working so much. It means in Myanmar saying that many Vitakka comes and cannot sleep. If you have to think about something very seriously, and you are thinking at that time, you will not be so sleepy. You cannot sleep, although you wish to sleep. Yeah, this is the work of Vitakka. And because Vitakka applying the mind and associated mental factor to the object, when the Vitakka working strongly, it is really opposite to the sloth and torpor, so cannot sleep. And sustained application, then vichara, doubt, opposite of the doubt. So vichara also, they temporarily exhibit the hindrance of doubt. That's why this considered as the opposite, because the vichara cannot completely remove the doubt, because only when the Sotapaddi Magga arises, the Vicikiccha is removed completely. But for the sustained application, it is similar to the wisdom, because it makes the examination, observing on the object, keep in touch. I will explain in the next slide about the Vitakka and Vichara, how's the nature. And observing on the object is similar to the text of the wisdom. That's why the doubt is removed, because by the power of vichara, the consciousness can closely observe the mind, observe the object. Observe the object. That's why there's no doubt on the object. This doubt does not mean the doubt for everything. It's doubt related to the object. So without the disruption of vicikiccha, doubt, then by the work of vichara, the vichara can be completed into the solid, reach to the certain level. And that's piti. So piti also inhibits the hindrance of evil. So the factor. So when joyful feeling comes, the pyabara gone. So when the pyabara arises and then trying to be joyful feeling, develop the joyful feeling, and then pyabara lesser and lesser, then finally is removed, is suppressed by that piti. The happiness also is because when the sukkah arises and mental joyful feeling arises in the mind, so it suppresses the restlessness and worry. Then the samadhi also the same. The temporarily, the sensual desire is not removed by the samadhi. The ordinary samadhi is the anagami magga completely cut off the kama chanda. So only when anagami magga appear, But here, the sensual desire is oppressed by the Samadhi. When the one pointness come to the certain level of concentration, the Kama Chanda cannot arise. Although we are seeing something we like, the greed cannot reach to the level of sensual desire, cannot be the hindrances to the mental development. So the mind can be developed. So if you wish to attain the jhana, you need to practice them, to be skillful how to remove the sloth and torpor, and doubt, evil, and restlessness and worry, and sensual desire. So in daily life, especially the sensual desire arising whenever you see something you like. And if you see something you don't like, and evil, Vyavara, dosa will arise, come to reach into the Vyavara level and become the mental hindrances. So in our daily living, as long as these mental hindrances are strong and enough power to block our mental development, we cannot attain the jhana. So we have to care in our daily living, daily life. Okay, so here to have more information about the jhana factors, and I give the notes here. So, and 5 material sphere and immaterial sphere, and also the supramundane consciousness. So when we study the consciousness, type of the consciousness, the part by part, we already finished the sense sphere consciousness 54, Rūpāvacara Citta. Now we are studying the 5 material sphere, Rūpāvacara consciousness. After that, we will study immaterial sphere and supramundane. So only in the sense sphere consciousness, we can find the classification of asankharika and sasankharika, prone and unprone. And after that, here the Rūpāvacara, Arūpāvacara, and Lokutara, we cannot see the classification of prone and unprone, asankharika and sasankharika. So that's why we don't need to consider which one this is asankharika or sasankharika. Okay, this is just to note. So here, let's continue about the difference between the 2 jhana factors of vitakka and vichara. So the commentary explained that here vitakka is like a bird is spreading out, it is wing to fly. This is initial stage. And vichara, in case of vichara, the bird is gliding through the air with outstretched wing. So already outstretched, the wings are. So vitakka and vichara, although they are arising together at the same time, it does not mean vitakka arise first and vichara follow. Actually, vitakka and vichara, they arise together in the same with the same consciousness. So when the jhana consciousness arises, if we are talking about the jhana factors, we have to talk about the jhana consciousness here for the first jhana. So when the first jhana consciousness arises, the vitakka and vichara arise together. So no time difference of their arising. Although they are arising together, their characteristic is different. So for the vitakka is seen performing leading role, taking the leading role. And that's why vitakka is compared to the spreading out of the wind to fly. But vichara is seen the examining the object. That's why it's like the following action. And another example is given that when the bee is flying towards the flower, so the bee is diving towards the flower is the function of vitakka, and the buzzing is mean the flying around, or that is we consider as the function of vichara. But we have to remember they are arising at the same time. Although example is in this way, and the last thing like the hand is stretched out to hold the tarnished metal dish. So metal dish is not clean yet. and that stretching of the hand is considered as the function similar to the function of Vitakka. But the hand that wipes the dish, so when one cleaning the dish, Metta dish, two functions, they just hold and they are the wiping. These are the example to explain the difference between Vitakka and Vichara. And if they are not, the explained in this way, we are application. Both of them are application. So how we can understand? Okay, we understand in this way. That's why Vitakka is the opposite to the Tina Metta, because it's directing to the consciousness as manifested towards the object. It make very active form, very active form. That's why it's opposed to the Tina Metta. Tina Metta is sluggishness of the mind. Drowsiness, we usually understand that. So when Vitakka is very active, the mind is active by the Vitakka, so the Tina Metta become in low level, even when it arises together. And finally, if we're in the practice, meditation practice, when the consciousness is directed to the object by the power of Vitakka, then Kusala Citta arises. So at the time of wholesome consciousness, the Tina Metta even cannot arise. So developing the right meditation object, if we can sustain our mind directing to the right meditation object, so akusala cannot arise. Kusala consciousness arise repeatedly, then Tina Metta will not arise. Then, okay, so for the Vichara, doubt is the opposite. After applying the and learning about the object and knowing about the object is through the examination of the Vichara, and doubt disappear, no more doubt. Okay, then Piti, let's talk about the Piti and Sukkah here. And we translate that the Piti is the pleasure or joyful interest on the object, not feeling. So here, connective factors of the belonging, the aggregate of mental formation. If we classify according to the classification of 5 aggregates, so we have already introduced that, right? 5 aggregates. There, the mental factors of Piti is included under the aggregate of mental formation, Sankhara Khanda. So if we talk about the Sukkah is feeling. Sukkah is feeling. So mental feeling, which is called joyful feeling. So it belongs to the aggregate of feeling. It's called Vedana Khanda. So this is one of the difference. Although we say the characteristic different, but here, if we study further, we can understand, they are different in the aggregates too. So Piti belong to the Sankhara Khanda and Sukkha belong to the Vedana Khanda in the 5 aggregate classification. Okay, so for the characteristic, Piti is compared to the delight. So delight arises in the mind of the person who is traveling around, crossing the wilderness, which is called the Kantara in there. Then at that time, he feels thirsty, weary traveler. He feels thirsty at that moment. And when he see the oasis, not enjoy yet, not drink yet, just seeing. So at that time, he feels delight. That seems similar to the Piti, the work of Piti. So Piti focusing on the same object, and the Piti is delighting on that, delighting on the object. As the person who is thirsty and seeing the water, feel the delight. And Sukkha is the pleasure, to that person, the same person, after seeing the the water or oasis, and he feel the pleasure after bathing and drinking. So here, really contact with the water. In the same way, enjoying the taste of the object. This becomes the Sukkah. So this is the difference between the Piti and Sukkah. Although they are rising at the same time, they have their different function to perform. So Sukkah and Piti. And another one is to compare with the Sukkah and Somanasa here. Okay, as I said, in the Jana fetter, although it is the word Sukkah is used, the Sukkah really same as the Somanasa, the mental fetters of the mental happiness. So here, in other cases, if you read the Sutta, you will see the Sukkah and Somanasa. So here we can classify Sukkah into two types. One is Kayika Sukkah. Kaya is body. That's why bodily pleasure. So that is really Sukkah. What is that? Is the feeling associated with the wholesome result in body consciousness, as we have said, that Sukha Sahagata Kaya Vijnana consciousness. That is called the bodily pleasure. But actually, it is mental factors of feeling. Mental factor of feeling, but it is named as the bodily pleasure because it comes through the bodily contact. Mental feeling, right? Okay, so Cittasika Sukha, what does it mean? The mental pleasure or joy, pleasant mental feeling, translated as that, and which is called the Somanasa. This is not related to the physical contact. Not related to the physical contact. It's just arising in the mind only. That's right. So Cittasika Sukha. When the Sukha come with the word Somanasa, in the Pali, it comes with the Sukkah and Somanasa together at the same time. And we need to classify Sukkah reference to the bodily pleasure, and Somanasa refers to the mental pleasure. And sometimes it comes only Sukkah. At that times, we need to know, this Sukkah refers to the mental pleasure or all kinds of Sukkah like this. So it depends on the place where it is used. The meaning can be changeable. That's why we have to see what kind of the expression should be in this case when we study the Sutta. Although we see the Sukkah, but that Sukkah can be sometimes referring to the bodily pleasure only. Sometimes refers to the mental pleasure only. Sometimes it can refer to all kinds of Sukkah, Kayika Sukkah and Cittasika Sukkah. So this is the difference between the Sukkah and Somanasa. But for sure, if we see the word Somanasa is reference to only the Cittasika Sukkah, the mental pleasure only, so not related to the bodily pleasure, because this is Somanasa. And when we see the Somanasa Sahagatam, the Tetikata Sampayuta like this, so that Somanasa refers to the mental feelings. So that is the mental pleasure only, not related to the bodily contact. And in the Kusala Citta also, Somanasa Sahagata Jana Sampayuta Asankharika like this. There also the Somanasa referring to the mental pleasure only, not related to their physical contact. Okay, so this is about the Sukkah and Somanasa. Okay, so the way to attainment of Jana, let's see, the Samatha Bhavana. Without the practice of Samatha Bhavana, nobody can attain the Jana. So need to practice the concentration of the calm meditation, which is called the Samatha Bhavana. And here I would like to introduce the meditation subject, which can give rise to the jhana. So in the Abhidhamma Sangha, chapter 9, explain about the 14 meditation subject. So here, the 10 kasina, 10 foulness is called the Asubha Bhavana, 10. Then recollection, anusati. So 10 anusati. So 30 already. Then illimitable, which is called apamanya. Illimitable, 4. So metta, karuna, mudita, and upekha. Then perception, this is sanya. This sanya is especially emphasized there. Ahari particular sanya, the disgusting perception on the food, the ahari particular sanya. Then the analyze of the elements. So here it should be analyzed of the elements. So element meditation. So chatu dhatu vavatthana. This is also one of the practice. Then immaterial state. The immaterial state is arupajana. So these are 14 meditation subjects explained in the Abhidhamma Sangha chapter 9. Okay, so among the 14 meditation subjects, the 10 meditation subjects or the 10 kinds of mental development are only asset development. So asset development only means there's no attainment or jhana or metta or phala. It reaches only to the asset development. So no absorption, no supramundane. Okay, so what are these? Here, 8 recollection. 8 recollection. So here among the 10 recollection, 8 just give rise only the asset development. So Brigama Bhavana, Upachara Bhavana can be possible. But there's no Apana Bhavana. And the one is the perception. So the perception is Aharipikula Sanya and Chatudhatu Vavatthana. This is the group of meditation subject, 10 meditation subject that can give rise only the stage of asset development at most. The Brigama and Upachara only, no Apana Bhavana. That's why if someone practice any of these 10 meditation subject, meditation practice, and that person cannot attain the jhana. So another thing here, the 30 remaining meditation subject can give rise their absorption stage of development. So if only when one of the 30 meditation subject the person practice one of the 30 meditation subject, he can develop up to the jhana level of the mega or phala. Okay, so this you can see if you are interested in the further explanation, and you can check in the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma there. Okay, so let's talk about the meditation that cannot bring the jhana attainment. Okay, so as I said in brief there in former slide, 8 types of recollection. Here, the recollection of Buddha. So if you are recollecting on the virtue of the Buddha, Arahant, Sammasambuddha, etc., and you can develop to the preliminary stages and the asset development, up to the asset development, you can practice. But by practicing the virtue of the Buddha, recollection of the Buddha, you cannot reach to the first jhana or second jhana, any jhana you cannot reach. In the same way, the Sakkado Bhagavata Dhamma, like this, the recollection on the virtue of the Dhamma and recollection on the virtue of the Sangha as the Supatipanno, like this. And generosity. So after giving and you recollect the state when you are giving, when the consciousness arrives, oh, this is my generosity, the virtue of generosity, then you can practice the meditation. That's also a kind of mental development, recollection of the one's own generosity. But it cannot reach to the jhana. And also here, deva. So here the spelling is wrong. Deva, actually it should be a. Deva, it means the commentary explained that how to practice the recollection of deva. Actually, not recollection the being's deva. So recollection of the one's own virtues. Oh, the deva, they being perform their generosity, etc., by the power of the satta, sati, viriya, etc., and they could do the kusala and they reborn as deva. This quality also can be found in me. That is reached to our own qualities, our own quality or satta, sati, etc. And recollecting, comparing to the qualification of the devas, and our own qualities are become the object. Then recollecting on our own quality compared to the devas' qualities, then we can reach to the Rūpāvacara Bhavana. And also here, peace, Upasamanusati, the peace and death, recollection on the death. So one can reach only to the SS development, now reaching to their Jana level. And perception and analyze. So the Aharipatikula Sanya, when you are eating and you recollect, oh, this food, when I'm eating and chewing, after that it changed to the form, become disgusting. And this is, or the enjoyment also short, very short time only, and disgusting in this way. And yogi develop. Then by that development, he or she can reach only to the SS level. And analyzing the Chatudhatu Avadhana, reflection on the 4 elements. These are the 10 types of meditation subject that can give rise only the SS stage, SS development stage, now reach to the Jana level. So, okay, the other remaining Kasina and Asubha, 4ness, Asubha 10. And here, among the mindfulness, here recollecting the mindfulness occupying with the body, which is called the Kaya Gata Sati. And mindfulness of breathing, this is Anapanasati. And these two can give rise to Jana as well. So, and also the 4 illimitable, so loving kindness, Metta, compassion, Karuna, and appreciated joy, Mudita, and equanimity, Upekha. These are 4 illimitable, which is called the Abhidhamma. And the 4 immaterial state, same as the Arupa Jana, the name we will study later. So these are 13 meditation subjects that can give rise the attainment of jhana too. So if yogi practice any of these 13, and he can reach to the specific jhana when the mental fetters are imbalanced and certain level of strength. Okay, so let's see. The 13 meditation object, 13 meditation subject with the jhana which they can give rise. So this also mentioned in chapter 9, Abhidhamma Sangha chapter 9 already mentioned this, and I bring here because I would like to connect the jhana consciousness and attainment. Otherwise, it's very far. The chapter 1 and chapter 9 very far. You lost contact. So here I will introduce 10 kasina. Okay, although you don't know what are the kasina, it doesn't matter, and you just need to know. Okay, if I practice 10 kasina, I can get so up to the 5th jhana. So all 5 jhana can be obtained by practicing kasina meditation. And if you practice the asubha, any of the asubha bhavana, you can attain only the 1st jhana. You cannot reach to the 2nd jhana, etc. So by practicing asubha bhavana, and one attain only 1st jhana, different from the kasina. Then for the mindfulness occupying with the body, which is called the kaya gata sati, reflecting on the kaya, also the same as the asubha can reach to the 1st jhana only. Then mindfulness of breathing, anapanasati, or very powerful one, like a kasina. So it can reach to the 5th jhana. All jhana can be attained through the mindfulness of breathing. That's why if you practice mindfulness of breathing, anapanasati, you don't need to change the meditation subject after the attainment of 1st jhana or 2nd jhana. You can continue the same practice up to the 5th jhana. Then loving kindness, compassion, and appreciated joy. The former 3 of the illimitable. And there are 4 illimitable. Former 3 of illimitable can give rise up to the 4th jhana. Yeah, the 1st jhana, 2nd jhana, 3rd jhana, 4th jhana. But it cannot reach to the fifth jhana. Because you know they are their loving kindness, compassion, and appreciative joy connected to the mental fetters of the feeling related to the Sukkah, happiness at this. But here it can be difficult to understand the compassion and how it can relate it to the happiness actually. But actually it cannot relate it to the equanimity, mental fetters or equanimity. That's why they reach up to the fourth jhana. So in jhana fetter, we can find the Sukkah up to the fourth jhana. So then for the equanimity, if someone practices equanimity, he can attain only the fifth jhana, because that equanimity is not the same as the jhana fetter or somanasa, Sukkah, in the form of four jhana. So that person practicing equanimity cannot reach to the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. So for this case, we need to connect with the jhana fetters. So for jhana fetter, first, second, third, and fourth jhana have the jhana fetter or Sukkah. So it cannot reach to the upekha level. That's why the fifth jhana cannot be obtained. Then for the fifth jhana, it comes with the jhana fetters or upekha and ekagata. So there is mental fetter of feeling changed to the upekha. That's why only when one practice the equanimity practice and he reach to the fifth jhana here in the illimitable. But if someone practice kasina or mindfulness of breathing, he can reach to the fifth jhana, up to the fifth jhana. So if by seeing this table, you need to learn and what kind of meditation subject can give rise to the jhana, which jhana in certain in specific result. Okay, so here for first jhana, if you wish to attain the first jhana, how many meditation subjects you can practice?
25.
Okay, 25, right? So if you wish to attain the second jhana, how many can be?
14.
Yes, only 14. Because here the asubha and mindfulness cannot apply. If you keep continuing practicing asubha or mindfulness, you cannot reach to the second jhana. Yeah, you need to change any of kasina or mindfulness of breathing or the loving kindness, etc. You need to move on the other object after attainment of jhana, first jhana. So in this way, you can identify, okay, so to attain the fifth jhana, how many meditation subjects can be possible?
14.
12.
14.
12.
14.
Okay. Here you see the 10 kasina.
10.
12.
14. 12, sorry. 12.
Okay, 12, right?
The 14.
Okay, so we need to see the table and we need to count in this way. Okay, how many and what types of meditation subject can reach to which level? We need to know. Otherwise, we try by the asubha practice to reach to second jhana or third jhana. It's impossible, right? Because the meditation subject is not supporting to reach to that level. Okay, so if someone wish to continue the further practice to attain the immaterial jhana, arupa jhana, so he need to continue after the attainment of the Rūpāvacara jhana. Rūpāvacara jhana, 5 Rūpāvacara jhana. These are corresponding to the immaterial sphere jhana. So akasananchayarana, vinyananchayarana, akinchinyayarana, nivasanyana sanyayarana. This will be for the next lesson. Okay, so now we understand how the jhana fetters are working and how they are absent to the mental hindrances and how they can apply by the specific meditation subject. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and let's continue to discussion. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Sayadaw, for the Abhidhamma lecture. We will now be moving on to the question and answer session of the class.
Okay, good.
Thank you everyone else who joined us today. The live streaming will end here.